Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and for today's Linux OS review, we're taking a look at Kubuntu 16.04. Now we're about a week away from the official release of the 16.04 series, so I am running the final beta of Kubuntu 16.04. And for those who saw my reviews of Kubuntu 15.04 and 15.10, you'll probably remember that I was a bit critical of Kubuntu in that we went ahead, we moved to Plasma 5 series, and it wasn't fully baked, I guess you could say. There were lots of glitches, lots of bugs, and on one hand, you got to give them kudos for pushing the envelope and getting the newer versions of KDE out there. On the flip side, it was kind of buggy, and I had a lot of trouble with apps crashing, plasma crashing, all that kind of stuff. So it was almost like it always felt like you were running beta software. So with 16.04 coming out, I loaded up on a test partition on my computer, and I've got fingers crossed that I hope I'm not going to have a repeat of the past two releases, and I am very happy to report that that has not been the case. For the most part, the bugs are gone. Almost everything is running perfectly. I've run into a couple of bugs. They've been small issues. It hasn't been that big of a deal, and I'll talk a little bit more about that through the review. But this has been a massive improvement over the past two Kubuntu releases. Like I said, for the most part, everything is working, and you're not constantly wondering, oh, gee, I wonder if this application is going to crash when I open it. Is Plasma going to crash on me? None of that is an issue anymore. So really, really happy with that. So here's an article from OMG Ubuntu, and it's talking about this was released when the 16.04 second beta just came out, talking about what's new, what's happening with the new releases, all that kind of stuff. And you scroll down to Kubuntu 16.04, and it kind of sums it up real quick and easy for you. You've got KDE applications 15.12, Plasma is at 5.5.4, LibreOffice 5.1, and then Firefox 45. Now, to just kind of give you an idea of the amount of bug fixing and updating that has been done, just taking a look at the KDE applications 15.12, go here to the application log. This lists every one of the 15.12 applications that have been updated. And you scroll through the list, and you can see, just gobs and gobs of applications that have been updated. A lot of this having been bug fixing, some of it new features, but a lot of it is bug fixing and that sort of thing. And then if you pick any one of these, you can click on it, and it'll give you a list of all of the bug fixes, all of the updates that have been done to that particular application. And just kind of going through the list, like I said, there has just been tons and tons of updates. There's lots and lots of work that has been done that has contributed to making this a good release. So let's take a look at the default desktop layout, give you an idea how things are set up. And much like previous Kubuntu releases, they've got a single panel across the bottom. Over on the left hand side, we've got our menu button. And one of the cool things that you'll see with this release, okay, you can click on the menu, and boom, the standard menu pops up, and it's got a search function built in. So let's say I was looking for LibreOffice, start typing, and it'll start pulling stuff up for you. Okay, that particular menu really isn't to my liking. I like something a little more compact. Traditionally, you would go and open up your panel settings and get rid of this icon and put in the widget icon for whichever one of the menus that you want to go with. You don't necessarily have to do that anymore. If you just right click on that menu icon, you can see where it says alternatives. Click on alternatives and pick whatever you want. You can go with this more compact application menu, which is kind of what I like, and it'll switch that for you. So now you can see it's more compact. You still have basically all the same functions you had before, but it's more compact. Um, I kind of like how, when you hover over a category, it just pops up with whatever's in that particular category. This is, for me, this is the type of menu that I like. It's more compact. It'll list favorites over here if you want to set up favorites. And then you still have the search function. So once again, if we wanted to look for LibreOffice, to start typing, and boom, there you go. So you can go with that. You can also, let's go back to the alternatives again. You can also select the application dashboard, which is a full screen um, launcher. We'll switch to that, and now when you click on it, so you get, once again, you can do the keyboard search, or you've got all these categories over here, so you can do some searching using that method. Down at the bottom, you got your login, restart, shutdown, all that kind of stuff. You got favorites listed there. So, if you want a full screen option, something maybe somewhat similar to the Gnome overview, you got this option as well. I am going to return this back to the more compact. There we go. That's just more to my liking. But anyway, so you've got those options there. So next to the menu, we've got all of our open windows. And then continuing on over to the right hand side, we've got all of our tray icons, our notifications, the clipboard manager, volume. And one of the things I really like about the volume, and this is especially useful for, say you've got a headset, but you also got your regular speakers and whatnot. You can go and, tweak all of them right from here. You don't have to go into your settings and go digging for the options to mess around with the different volumes for your different devices. It's all right here, nice and convenient for you. So we've got that, and then we've got our network icon, and then we've got some hidden icons here, our battery and brightness, printers, clipboard, all that kind of stuff listed there. And then we've got our calendar/date, and then of course the little hamburger icon over on that side, so that if we want to go and play around with our panel settings, we can do that. Kubuntu is in no way a lightweight distro. I've got the system monitor running right here, and you can see I'm running on memory use. I'm just under 2 gigabytes of it, 1.8 gigabytes. Now, granted, I do have a fair number of processes running. Baseline was just under a gigabyte. So definitely this is not a lightweight distribution. So if you got an older computer, older laptop, and you've only got 2 gigs of RAM, I'm not saying that this won't run for you, but it's probably not optimum conditions, so to speak. But really, most of your desktop and laptop computers that have been built in, I don't know, last 5 years or so shouldn't have any trouble running it, unless it's a really stripped down model, not a whole lot of RAM or CPU, that sort of thing. I'm not going to go through the entire list of included applications. There are a few things that I want to mention and point out for you, though. Let's start with Spectacle, and which is if you've used K-Snapshot in the past to take screenshots. K-Snapshot is no longer included by default, although you can still download it and use it. Spectacle has replaced K-Snapshot, and think of it as a souped-up screenshot tool. I've got it open here. It's showing both of my screens side by side by default, and it tells you, gives you an area full screen is what is listed right now. You could just make it the current screen. You could, an active window under the cursor, or rectangular region, so you can go and mark out a specific area that you want to take a snapshot of. You can set up a delay. You can set up to take picture on a click? Do you want to include the mouse pointer, include window and title bars, all that kind of stuff? And then you can take your screenshot. It takes a shot, and then you can copy it to the clipboard, save and exit. Do you want to export it to a particular application? So maybe you've got Krita or GIMP or one of those photo editing applications installed on your desktop. You can go and export it directly to that application, and boom, get to work on editing right away. So pretty nice application. Next thing I want to take a look at is software management. Most of the other distros in the official Ubuntu corral are getting GNOME software for software management. Not here in the land of Kubuntu. We are using, let me pull it up here. We have Muon Discovery and Muon Update Manager. Let's open up Discovery and drag it over here. And in its own right, it is a pretty good software center. And this isn't this isn't new for Kubuntu. They've been using Muon for a while now. But you can go and search by category, top rated, most popular, all that sort of thing. Let's just take a look at some of the graphic applications. And so once again, now that we're in the graphics category, we can go through the most popular, categorized again, best rating, or we can just start, kind of scrolling through here. Let's say that we want to look at this at Darktable. And if you're interested in installing our Darktable, just click on Install and put in your password, and boom, that's all there is. You got a description here. Links to the home page, tells you a little bit about total size, version number, all that kind of stuff. And you've got a little indicator right here that right now it's telling you that it's downloading, and it'll keep you updated through the whole download and update process. Now from Muon Discovery, you can also do your updates. Click on updates, it'll show you all of the applications that need to be updated. You can just click on update and boom, let it run the updates, and sit back and let it do its thing. Personally, I really like Muon. It's not the fastest software center out there, but it gets the job done relatively glitch free. Really don't have any problems with. It is a little bit slow with the actual installations and performing the updates, but it works for the new users out there. It gives some pretty good descriptions of the individual piece of software. So for the KDE camp, I think this is a good option for a software center. Kubuntu users will be able to take advantage of all of the improvements to the Ubuntu codebase. Big part of that is Linux kernel 4.4. Now, comparing to the kernel in the previous LTS, you're looking at better power management, better memory management. Those that are using the Intel Skylake processors, there's better support for that. What else was there? Let me take a look at my notes here. Journal RAID 5 support for TMP 2.0 chips. There's new driver for the Corsair Vengeance K90, so all kinds of improvements. Now, one thing that's kind of a downside with the 1604 series is only going to be for those that are running AMD graphics cards. And essentially what's going on is the proprietary driver for AMD GPUs, which is commonly referred to as Catalyst, it will be retired in a year or so. Okay, so that kind of puts Ubuntu in a bit of an awkward position, because, like I said, that Catalyst is on its last legs. AMD's going to get rid of it in a year or so. But Ubuntu 16.04 is an LTS, so everything that is included has to be supported for 5 years. So Ubuntu will be stuck supporting a piece of software that will not have manufacturer support, very soon. So, I can understand why Ubuntu does not want to include it in their as part of the LTS. Now, AMD is working on a new open source driver, uh, open source GPU driver, which is all said and good. However, one, it's not completely ready yet. We're not fully baked. So that's a downside to it. And also, at least as of right now, it only looks like current generation cards and one previous generation cards will be supported. So if you're like me and you're running a AMD card that's 3 or 4 years old, maybe 5 years old, it doesn't look like you're going to get support. So you're kind of screwed. And once again, kind of, taking the, big picture kind of view, I don't necessarily fault Ubuntu for the direction that they're going. Really, this comes back to AMD not supporting Linux users that are running older AMD hardware. Um, I completely understand making the move to the new graphics driver, but not offering support to the people running the older cards. I mean, that, I don't know. Maybe they're they're operating from the idea that, well, maybe those people will go and buy a newer AMD card. Well, let me put it to you this way: if I go and buy a new card, it's not going to be an AMD card, not after this little fiasco. But, hey, that's just me. So, problems and issues, like I said, they've been relatively minor. A couple of times while moving panels around and, adding widgets and that sort of thing, I had Plasma crash on me. So there was that. And, kind of taking a big picture view, that not necessarily a big issue. Yeah, it's annoying, but generally, you're going to go and you get your panel set up the way that you want them set up, get your widgets added that you want added, and then boom, you're done setting it up. So once you get past that, you're not going to have to deal with that problem anymore. So, like I said, annoying, but not a big issue. So I had that happen. I had one time where I went and shut my computer down, and I came back maybe 15 minutes or so later, and Kubuntu is still on the logout screen and processing. It just kind of hung up on the logout screen. So I had that happen once. I tried to reproduce it. It didn't do it again. So, um, you know, um, not quite sure what the issue was there. Like I said, I have not been able to reproduce it. So I had those happen. And while running Kden Live, um, and I'm not sure if this was a Kden Live issue or a Kubuntu issue, but while running Kden Live, I tried to access a backup of a file, and the all the Windows borders crashed on the not just on Kden Live, but on every application that was running. But it was only while trying to access those backup files. So I'm kind of thinking that it was an issue with those backup files and not necessarily with Plasma. I really only bring it up because, kind of a full disclosure kind of thing. But really, those have been the only issues that I have run into. So, compared to especially Kubuntu 15.10, which I thought was really, really buggy, it's been great running this distribution. And to be quite honest, I've enjoyed it enough that I am going to make it my main distro. I know that just a few weeks ago I said that Ubuntu Mate was going to be it, and I've been running Ubuntu Mate. Love that distro, but you know, working with Kubuntu the past 2 weeks, just really, really love what they have done here. And to be quite honest, the bulk of the applications that I use are um, Qt/KDE applications anyway. So I might as well run Kubuntu. Um, I will keep everybody updated and let you know how that's going and all that kind of thing. Well, I think that just about finishes this review up. The next review is going to be Ubuntu 16.04. We'll finally take a look at the official Ubuntu, and we'll take a look at some of the improvements and all that kind of stuff that are there. But as always, leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below, and I will get to them as soon as I can. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And I hope to see you all on my next video. Thanks a lot.